Hello viewers, today we would discuss about the choice of specific magnetic loading in a synchronous machine. Now as you all know that the size and the cost of synchronous machine always decreases by choosing a higher value of air gap density, but the operating flux density in stator teeth and core always increases, which results in enormous amount of iron losses, and hence it reduces the efficiency and also arises the problem of temperature rise in the machine. Stability limit is an important factor in the synchronous machine, which gives an indication of the maximum power that can be delivered under the steady state condition, which is given by P max is equal to V into E upon XS. From this equation, we can clearly state that the synchronous reactance is inversely proportional to the steady state limit of the synchronous machine. Larger air gap flux density can be achieved by having a higher air gap flux, which could be further achieved by lesser number of turns per phase for the stator winding. Thus, the synchronous reactance is decreased with larger value of the air gap flux density, and it also results in higher stability limit of the synchronous machine. Usually, synchronous generators are required to operate in parallel to meet the load demands. The synchronizing power is inversely proportional to the synchronous reactance as seen in the equation, and shows the capability of the system to keep the generators in synchronism when they are operating in parallel. Hence, designing the machine with a higher air gap flux density would lead to higher synchronizing power, which further leads to satisfactory parallel operation of synchronous generators. From this discussion, we can conclude that the higher air gap flux density results in decreased synchronous reactance, but it also increases the transient current under short circuit conditions. Hence, we can say that the machine should be designed with a low value of air gap flux density, as the electromagnetic forces under short circuit conditions can be limited. So as discussed, we have both advantages as well as disadvantages of having a lower flux density as well as higher flux density. So let us focus that what are the advantages and disadvantages when the machine is desired with higher flux density. So it would have the following advantages, as it reduces, let us number it first. So the first would be the reduction in the size of the machine. The second point could be, as discussed, the higher stability limit, can be obtained The third point can be taken as satisfactory parallel operations, and the last point can be taken as reduction in the cost of the machine. Now the last point is related with the first point. If you see the reduction in the size of the machine, there would be definitely the reduction in the cost of the machine. Further, we move to the disadvantages. So the first disadvantage would be if you increase the flux density of the machine, it is very obvious that you will have higher iron losses. The second point, if the losses increases, it is very obvious that your efficiency would decrease. So we can write here as lower efficiencies. Now, as we have talked that if the losses increases, the temperature also rises. So we have the higher temperature rise, within the machine, and the last point would be the increased short circuit current, or to be precise, let's say increased transient short circuit current. With the advancements in the magnetic material, it is possible to choose a magnetic flux density of a higher value for the modern synchronous machines. However, it is limited by the permissible temperature rise of the insulation material used in the machine. Next, we would discuss the table of specific magnetic loading for salient pole alternators as well as turbo alternators based on their output. So let us say if the output is 100 kVA, the specific magnetic loading for a salient pole alternator needs to be 0.52, whereas for a turbo alternator it would be 0.54. For the kVA rating of 200, the specific magnetic loading for salient pole alternator would be 0.54, whereas for the turbo alternator it would be 0.56. Similarly, the kVA rating of 500 for a synchronous machine, the specific magnetic loading for a salient pole alternator would be 0.56, whereas for a turbo alternator would be 0.58. Moving ahead with the kVA rating of 1000 for a salient pole machine, the specific magnetic loading would be 0.58, whereas for a turbo alternator it would be 0.6. For a further higher rating of 5000 kVA, the specific magnetic loading for a salient pole alternator would be 0.61, whereas for a turbo alternator would be 0.63. Further moving ahead with a higher kVA output of 10,000 kVA, the specific magnetic loading for a salient pole alternator would be 0.63, whereas for a turbo alternator it would be 0.65. And the last is the kVA rating of 20,000. The specific magnetic loading for a salient pole alternator would be 0.65, whereas for a turbo alternator would be 0.67. The topic of discussion for this lecture also includes choice of specific electric loading. As seen in the output equation, the size of the machine for the same output can be reduced for a higher value of specific electric loading. It also decreases the cost of the machine. The leakage reactance and the armature reactance of the synchronous machine is higher with large value of specific electric loading, thus increasing the synchronous reactance of the machine. With the higher value of specific electric loading, the machine would be able to survive lower transient currents under short circuit conditions. As a result, the machine will be able to withstand sudden short circuits without mechanical injury. From the design point of view, the choice of higher specific electric loading would also increase the copper losses, leading to decrease in the efficiency and also provides a higher temperature rise. It also leads to increased stray load losses of the machine, as well as leads to a poor inherent voltage regulation, lower steady state stability limit, and smaller synchronizing power because of the increased synchronizing reactance. Keeping all this in mind, higher values of specific electric loading can still be selected for machines which has better cooling methods, as well as for the machines which are designed for low voltage operations. Keeping all this in mind, let us go to the advantages and disadvantages of choosing a higher value of specific electric loading. So in advantages, the first advantage comes from the output equation itself, that it reduces the size of the machine. Second is lower transient currents, lower transient currents under short circuit. And the last point would be the decreased cost of the machine. Now moving to the disadvantages. So the first disadvantage would be the increased copper loss. The second disadvantage would be higher stray load losses. The third disadvantage would be increase in the temperature rise. So increased temperature rise. The fourth point can be taken as the poor inherent voltage regulation. The fifth point can be taken as lower steady state stability limit. And the last point can be taken as smaller synchronizing power. Moving ahead with the table of selection of specific electric loading for its various kVA output, starting with 100 kVA output, the specific electric loading for a salient pole machine would be 20,000 ampere conductors per meter, whereas for a non-salient pole machine it would be 30,000 ampere conductors per meter. Next is for a kVA rating of 200 for a salient pole machine, the specific electric loading is 23,000 ampere conductors per meter, whereas for a non-salient pole type machine it is 33,000 ampere conductors per meter. Moving ahead with a 500 kVA output for a salient pole machines, the specific electric loading is 26,000 ampere conductors per meter, whereas for a non-salient pole type machine it is 36,000 ampere conductors per meter. Moving ahead with an output of 1000 kVA, the specific electric loading for a salient pole machine is 29,000 ampere conductors per meter, whereas for a non-salient pole machine it is 40,000 ampere conductors per meter. Further moving ahead with a 5000 kVA output, the specific electric loading is 34,000 ampere conductors per meter, whereas for a non-salient pole type it is 45,000 ampere conductors per meter. For a further higher output rating of 10,000 kVA, the specific electric loading for a salient pole machine is 37,000 ampere conductors per meter, whereas for a non-salient pole machine it is 48,000 ampere conductors per meter. And finally, for a 20,000 kVA output, the salient pole machine has a 40,000 ampere conductors per meter as the specific electric loading, whereas for a non-salient pole type machine it is 53,000 ampere conductors per meter. Hope you had a good learning session. See you again in the next video. For any doubts or clarification, feel free to comment in the comment section or reach out at the email address provided in the description. Thank you.